Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome back to Movies That Are R-Rated Month. And this time I'm talking about a 1995, kind of an underrated film. I know it has a lot of problems, but I still don't hate this movie. And it's the live-action adaptation of the comic book character Dredd called Judge Dredd. This is the 95 film with Stallone, not this superior movie, which I know, don't say in the comment section this movie's better. I know this movie's better. This film should have made money, and it's the definitive Dredd that we had on film by Carl Urban with that kick-ass voice. This one's a more campier version of that, and it is R, so because there's blood in the movie and there's a lot of swearing, so it counts. Now, I saw this movie a couple years ago because I saw the Nostalgia Critics review on it. It's hilarious. It's one of his funniest things. I love how cheesy the movie is. So I know there's a lot of overacting. You got Rob Schneider in the movie. I don't hate him. I'm sorry. I'll take him over any of the actors in Disney Wars because he does not annoy me as much. There's a lot of films that he's in that I like Home Alone 2, Surf Ninjas. I like that as a kid. I like The Adventures of Pinocchio. Yeah, he was not the problem with Norm of the North. I know it's a horrible movie, but it's not his fault because he didn't write it. But I don't mind him in the film. There's some good in this movie. There's a lot of problems. I'll get to that. Now, basically, the film starts with a great narration, opening crawl, the way Rogue One should have been. It has an opening crawl done by the great James Earl Jones talking about the judges, and he says an all-powerful force. And I'm like, yeah, what does that remind you of? The original Star Wars, right here. It's just a quick narration, and then the movie starts. Yeah, there's some problems with the movie. Let me just get to the main. There's 3 or 4 problems I have with the film. One, Judge Dredd should never take his helmet off. This movie did that beautifully. Dredd never takes his helmet off. If they did that, they should have done it off screen. He takes the helmet off, like shaves or does whatever, and then puts it back on. Never take the helmet off. Kylo Ren did that, and he became a pussy because of it. 2, the villain is a little bit too much. He's very overbearing. What was his name? Rico, the guy that plays Rico, Armand Desante. It's a good actor, but he overacts. You thought Zod in Man of Steel was overacting? Sean, see this. This is hammy to the freaking 10th power. Shannon, at least, even though he's overacting, he has a point. Armand Desante's overacting is like throwing things, and I'm like, oh my god, dude, just take it down a notch, dude. You're not in a Shakespeare play. You're in a freaking comic book movie. Also, the film has some too much comedy in it. There's some scenes that go on way too long. There's some one-liners that don't work. I admit this. Does that come with a fork, or I knew you'd say that, or whatever. But other than that, I like the rest of the film. I like the special effects. They don't bother me. For the time, they were pretty groundbreaking before the Star Wars prequels came out. I like Diane Lane. This is what she did before Man of Steel. And she was hot in this movie as Judge Hershey. I think she's a beautiful woman. She's always been a capable actress. I can say that. I can take that to the grave. Diane Lane is a beautiful woman that can act. Always has, always will. She will always be a knockout to me. I like Stallone's performance. I know it's a little hammy. I'm law, and I am the law. It's laughable, but good God, it's fun to watch. And remember, this was in 1995. I was 10. I was not allowed to watch R-rated movies at that time without adult supervision. I saw this many years later online. Or actually, no, I saw it on cable. And there's a twist in the movie that Judge Dredd, Rico is his brother. Oh my God, pinch me. And I love the Nostalgia Critic when he's like, Rico is your brother. Rico's my brother? What? I said Rico's my brother? I love that. Doug Walker, yeah, no matter what happens to that channel on YouTube, he still makes me laugh, man. Anyway, the film has a very straightforward plot. Judge Dredd is going around and, giving violations to people and shooting people that are not upholding the law, betraying the law. James Remar's in the film in a small part, and he shoots him. He's like, ah! And he just shoots him. I love Dredd's gun in this movie. It would later be featured in this kick-ass movie, which is good. It's still canon. It's the same character. Different take. This is the cheesy version, and that was the dark, gritty, and badass version. And I don't get the hate with this movie. It came out in 95. There were worse movies that came out after this. Steel is worse than this. Catwoman is worse than this. Batman and Robin. Superman 4 came out before this, and that's a laughing stock. That movie is horrible. This at least has a budget. I like the robot. It looks like a Terminator. Is brown. It's like, Commander. And like, he has a kick-ass voice. There's a scene where he crushes somebody with his hands, so it's bloody. It's not PG-13. There's a scene with these like southern like freaks that one of them has a freaking like a robotic eye, and he has like sharp hands, and he kills. This is the second movie that I've seen in my life where Max von Sydow is old and he dies. Guess what the other one is? Yeah, fuck you, J.J. Abrams, for wasting Max von Sydow as an actor. Here, he's much better. He has more screen time than 2 minutes. He does die, but it's not till like halfway through the film. And I like Max von Sydow as an actor. See Flash Gordon. That performance as Ming the Merciless is freaking fantastic. It's like the Emperor from Star Wars, the original Star Wars. He's great. And in this movie, he has more respect. Like, he doesn't look like he's ready to die with Kylo Ren killing him. No, fuck that movie. I'm sick and tired of that guy being associated with that. But anyway, the acting is not the problem. I said the problems. The villain is too hammy. Some of the jokes and the humor doesn't work. Some of it. Some of the jokes I didn't mind, because some scenes go on way too long. The film's not that long either. I think it's like an hour and some minutes. It's not 2.5 hours. This film also was pretty short. It was 96 minutes. See, don't bore your audience with an hour and 20 minutes of freaking, exposition. Here, they don't have that much. And there's a scene where, where Rico he dresses as Judge Dredd and he frames him for a murder. And that's the scene, where Stallone's in court and he's like, I never betrayed the law. I am the law. And I'm like, yeah, watching Stallone overact is fun to watch sometimes. It just is. It makes me laugh. And, to not take it seriously, I'm like, yeah, for the time, I never knew Judge Dredd was a comic book because he wasn't Marvel, he wasn't DC, so I didn't know who he was until I saw this movie, which is amazing. Like I said, this is the 95 version, not the 2012 version, which almost flopped. It did worse than this movie, which is sad. I guess because Carl Urban is not a household name. But anyway, I don't hate Judge Dredd. I know a lot of people do. I know Tevye is not a fan of this movie. A lot of people are not. I get it. I get where you're coming from. This is not a freaking Oscar caliber movie, but I can watch it for fun. As stupid as it is, it still has fun to it. I love the effects. I like the action. I like the look of the film. It has a budget, unlike Superman 4. It's not like a freaking farce like the way Batman and Robin is. And there's a Statue of Liberty scene at the end, which is fun. I like watching that. Like I said, the overacting makes me laugh. There's a hot Asian chick in the movie. There's some plot lines that go nowhere. Like there's some clones that they try to create and they never come out of their pods. But the film itself, like for a so bad it's good movie, I have fun watching Judge Dredd. I would recommend it and then watch this, because that movie, this is not a remake of the Stallone movie. It's its own thing. It's just called Dredd. This one's called Judge Dredd. This is the kind of the not origin story, but the first film. And I don't hate the film. I know people are like, oh, you're high. This movie should be in one of the worst in your list. I saw the film and I don't see I see the problems, but I'm not like, oh my God, this movie's horrible. No, there's a lot of good in it. Like I said, Diane Lane is good. I like the effects. I like the look of the film. The story is fine. The action there's plenty of action in the movie. It's not like there's 5 minutes of action. And like I said, this is the better version. It is. I will always say that, but this is not a horrible movie. The critics are wrong. They're like, oh, this movie's one of the worst comic book movies, one of the worst films of the 20th century. Did you see Batman and Robin? Or better yet, did you see Son of the Mask? That's a comic book movie, and that's horrendous. That movie's hard to watch. It's unbearable. This movie is watchable in comparison. Like I said, I don't hate Rob Schneider in the movie. I don't hate Stallone in the movie. Who else? There's other people. Max von Sydow. He has more screen time in this than the abominations that are coming from this once treasured franchise. Yeah, he has more screen time because using a great actor like that for 2 minutes is just insulting to me. He does die in this movie, but it's a movie from 23 years ago. I think if you haven't seen it by now, you should have heard of it. But anyway, yeah, Judge Dredd's not a horrible movie. It has problems. I acknowledge them. But I don't think it's one of the worst films of 1995, not even one of the worst comic book movies of that year or any other year. Because I can name like 10 that are way worse from before 1995 and after it. And I know that movie is going to be amazing without a freaking doubt. But anyway, guys, it's an R-rated Judge Dredd movie, and it's lighter on the the violence of the 2012 movie, but it's watchable. It's not horrible. Believe me, I've seen worse. And yeah, like I said, it's a simple story, and it doesn't take forever to get going, and it has its merits. And I know I'm gonna get a hit in the comment section saying, you don't know what you're talking about. This movie should be buried. I'm like, it's been forgotten, but after I see it and I see this, I don't feel that bad because I'm like, you made a cheesy sci-fi B movie into a badass, dark, edgy, violent, freaking epic. That should have done better at the box office anyway. But anyway, thanks guys for watching. I've had a long day. I want to just do this review because I want to give you something before I see Infinity War that's going to be epic. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care. I did shave my head for the occasion. I can't wait to see Infinity War just a few days away. 3 days now because it's Tuesday when I'm filming this. And yeah, take it easy, guys, and I'll see you in the next review.